cut. Welcome to the top cut. Welcome to the top cut. Welcome to the top cut. Top cut. Welcome to the top cut. Welcome to the top cut. Welcome to the top cut.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into another episode of the Top Cut Yu-Gi-Oh! Podcast. I'm never doing this intro, so it's a little bit weird. But we are back, and this is the last episode before Sunny returns from his vacation hiatus. He was sorting cards. He was sorting cards for 5 days. And he did actually finally finish sorting his collection. I'm sure he'll have a lot to talk about. I do have a very special guest for us today, but before I allow this esteemed individual to introduce themselves, I do have to go through a long list of stuff that Sunny usually says at the beginning of an episode. So a huge shout out to all of our sponsors in terms of local stores. That's going to be Steelfox Games and ETB Games. I have never been there in my life, but Sunny is from Louisiana and he says they're great. Links are in the description. As well, we do have some affiliate links if you want to check those out. So we've got TCG Player. There's a new link there now, and there may be a discount code coming soon, so keep an eye out. And we've also got codes for Tier 0 games. We've got a link for Dragon Shield, and there should also be a code coming for that. And then Grimoire Accessories as well. I've been showing it off all the time, and I have a video on my Twitter of me doing push-ups while doing level combos with this. But their playmats are awesome, so definitely keep an eye out for them. There may be somebody I am forgetting. Oh, Tier 0, and this is actually a thing I should probably bring up. They just announced, so as of recording, they announced it, and tomorrow it's going to be live. But Tier 0 is having a gigantic clear out sale thing. They're clearing out all of their retro stuff. They're saying up to 40% off. So if you want an extra 5% off, there's a Tier 0. It's code TOPCUT5, so check that out. And as always, check out our Discord, and a massive shout out to all of our wonderful patrons. We will read your names out at the end of the episode. Okay, I think I'm going to the stuff out of the way. If I forgot anything, Sunny will kill me later. So, without further ado, and to make you stop sitting here awkwardly on camera,
I was tempted to jump in a couple times, but I didn't know how badly I would derail the intro, and you were kind of on the roll. I didn't want to mess you up.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Mr. JaffynGames, would you like to introduce yourself to the people?
Hello, I am JaffynGames on Twitter. Occasionally stream. I don't think I've done that in over a year now. Whoops. Yeah, I'm for the most part a nobody, but occasionally I do a funny in a Twitter thread for prog memes, and other than that, I just exist in the Necrofusion Discord. I really don't know why I'm here.
Jaffin is here because I roped him into recording a Yu-Gi-Oh episode last minute, but also has been around online in some spaces. Mainly is in the Necrofusion enthusiasts, as the person with the most pinned posts of all time.
Thanks, Outback. Love you, bud.
Has also posted some absolute bangers in the progression series memes. I'll probably link a few in the description. The one that blew up the most was definitely the it's
the prog decks.
It's the gif of click to choose your deck, and it's just Nim's chaos lists with no
unironically, I think there's about 14 different decks in that one gif from almost, I want to say 4 or 5 months. I literally just went down the playlist, went, okay, chaos screenshot, chaos screenshot, chaos screenshot.
And
it was quite funny.
Now, instead of chaos mirrors, we're getting chain burn mirrors. So I guess we all need to be
objectively better. I'm sorry. I will die on that hill. That was one of the best mirrors they've ever done.
I think it was pretty funny. I was a big fan.
And this isn't just because I played chain burn for a year. Ignore that part.
All right. I will pretend I didn't hear it.
Thank you.
So this is maybe just this is kind of a silly question. What drove you to make these? Because you showed up in a bunch of threads. Was it just I have an idea and it has to get out?
It's called I worked from home all through COVID, and I liked committing wage fraud. At the end of the day, 90% of those memes were I was supposed to be working.
On the clock.
A couple of them were in meetings even.
That is This is the way to counteract a wage theft. Everybody is to simply steal it back.
Make memes. Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's
They can't steal from you if you steal first.
That's
words
fabulous.
to live by.
So, what is? Well, I'll ask you a few more questions about you and the game before we get into news stuff. How did this? I mean, tale as old as time. How did you start Yu-Gi-Oh? What got
Well,
you there?
obviously, I was an absolute nerd growing up as a kid, like most people were in the early 2000s. Watched the anime and all that. I kind of fell out of it until last year of high school, funny enough, where like the sort of group I was tangentially friends with just started playing Yu-Gi-Oh at a lunch table and not being pushed into lockers after. So I just kind of jumped in there at I think it was the middle of Lords of the Tachyon Galaxy, so like the Dragon Ruler stuff.
Oh, good.
Probably not the best time to start back, but
time to start. Yeah.
yeah, definitely not the best time to start making Mecha Phantom Beasts. But I lived and I learned. Apparently,
Is that so? That was the first deck you built, was Mecha Phantom Beast?
The first actual deck that wasn't like the Pyro structure deck from the early 2000s. But yeah, the actual first deck I wanted to build was Mecha Phantom Beast, and I got it all done until I saw Draco Sacrifices.
Ah, I see.
And then that was worst Mecha Phantom Beast deck you could possibly pilot.
It's a what? That would be, God. What do you do? What do you?
Nothing.
What do you do?
You play like
do a
like,
barrel
unironically nothing.
roll? Do a
You're
barrel
playing-
roll turbo? Like
Yeah, do a barrel roll with like what is that? I have the alti, the emergency takeoff or whatever.
yeah.
You just play control using like Harlard to special shit from your hand
It's just
and
totally
losing to anything.
I will say, I do actually have a first edition ultimate rare copy of Mecha Phantom Beast Hamstrat.
I do too.
On my desk right now.
Oh, I love that guy.
I have these. I have this for Dinosaur actually, which is very funny.
I remember the combos. I'm pretty sure I lost to that combo a couple times.
It probably came up at locals.
Yeah.
That was because there weren't any big events. That was the only place I could ever bust it out.
Nobody show up to locals when Skyhawk comes. You will be beaten by the most obscene jank that you have ever seen in your entire life.
It's never. It's just, I don't know. Every time I show up to Common Box and activate Royal Penguin's Garden, the reaction is just it's still too funny to this day.
I think there's only like 2 people who have become desensitized to your. I was about to say BS, but in the non-PG-13 way.
Yeah, it's like you and Akash.
Pretty much.
Are the only people.
Occasionally Brighton.
That's true. Well, yeah, that Brighton has been well.
I think
aware of
Brighton's
my-
just dead to everything at this point, though.
That's fair. I think Brighton is our resident Drytron enthusiast who has shifted to Sprite in lieu of Drytron.
Oh no, he's back on Drytron.
Oh,
I have
actually,
been turn skipped. Yeah, again.
I haven't been able to make it out to locals as much. Well, of course, he'd probably be doing Amber Factor Pain now, right?
He was on Amber Factor, and I don't know. There's something else.
Is it
He was skipping a lot.
Thunder of Ruler?
I think it was that. Yeah.
That's the trap. It skips the.
I don't know. I was looking at the board, just going, "Oh, no droll. I guess I die."
Oops. So,
I should have just rolled better dice. I don't know what to say.
That's true. So when did you shift to playing more competitively? I don't know if you do you consider yourself a competitive player, or are you just like I try to do like where
I would like to consider myself like semi-competitive, if that makes sense. Like I like competing. I like going to regionals. Hit my first in-person YCS with Vancouver, and I enjoy that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, I play jank too much to be competitive, if that makes sense.
I'm with you. Well, you almost you were pretty darn close to day 2 at Vancouver. You were,
I got knocked out of the running. I think it was last round,
it was the very last.
It was something
round,
like that.
It was round 8, I think. I remember.
All to a
Let us
cash
know.
player that opened triple shifter. Shifter every game. Gotta love it.
I'm so glad Arise Heart is gone. There's
Me too.
although some of the other decks are playing shifter. Speaking of other decks, Oh, actually, so are you still playing Infernoble this format? Is that where you're on, or are you?
I am. I'm probably going to be shifting off it though, simply because the graveyard hate hurts a little too much. But at the end of the day, I'm probably just going to go back to playing Jank for the rest of this format because I don't think there's really any big events that I'll be hitting or anything like that.
That's kind of where I'm at too. I'm like, I don't want to buy the SP Little Knight or the Diabell.
Yeah, there's no chance I'm buying any of that.
So,
I'm gonna play Zephyr. Have fun.
That's a move. I mean, do you play any of the new Pendulum stuff in Zephyr? I have no idea if there's like.
I don't think so. I think you play more of the. From what I've been seeing, what I've been testing, I'm enjoying the Super Heavy Samurai stuff more because it's just one card Danglong, and with the Super Heavy Samurai stuff, it gives you a combo line that, with just Wakaushi, can search any monster in the game, search any field spell in the game, set up Beatrice to dump anything. So like
Dingle Dong
surprisingly versatile
is a pathway to abilities.
I love Danglong. I'm so glad we have Danglong back.
It is amazing to me. We're going completely off topic, but that's totally okay. It is amazing to me that we were all like terrified of Danglong. Like before Danglong actually.
I wasn't. I played Yang Zing. I knew that shit did nothing.
You've been around.
He did nothing wrong. It was Dino players who got him banned. Yeah. And yes, I'm looking straight into the camera at you.
Listen, I'm very sorry that I'm a huge fan of Soul Eating Over Raptor, but listen.
Just get your own guys banned, not the incidental Yang Zing that was like a one-of brick.
I was not playing the structure deck cards when Dino was doing the Yang Zing stuff. This is something that you may not know.
I don't know. You're still a Dino player. I'm going to blame you.
You may not know this about
all
me.
You Dino players.
I did not play the structure deck Dino cards in Dinosaur until TOS format.
What?
So this is some Skyhawk lore. We're going to drop this on the podcast right now. I played Dino Rabbit Control with one rabbit for probably like 8 years. I was terrible at this game for an unbelievable amount of time. And
then you read Misk and you like had a neuron activate and suddenly you're getting like invites to RDIQs and stuff like that.
And you laughed. That is almost exactly what happened. I remembered.
He has read Misk.
Some Edmonton Yu-Gi-Oh lore. The first match I ever played was actually against Blake Morrison, who actually has had a lot of recent event success. Topped YCS Vancouver, got top 8, I think, and also got 5th at Nationals, so missed out on Worlds.
Yeah, he almost went to Worlds. That was nuts.
Dude is absolutely nuts. One of the best cash players out there. My first match was against him playing Salad, and I was on literally 3 times Dino Smasher's Fury, plus like some stuff I bought at the anime club at McEwen University. I had somebody sold me like a Lagia and a Dulka and some Guaibas. And game 1, I OTK'd him with Serrano Infinity, and then I got smacked games 2 and 3.
Yeah, we don't talk about it. Just ride the game 1.
Yep. Okay, so aside from our aside from Danglong Dinguses and Dino Dunguses, YCS Indianapolis happened. We've got
it did
an entirely new format, and it seems like there's a new top dog in town. Tier limit massively underperformed, but the deck that covered the most amount of spots in top cut was Rescue Ace Diabell Star, and it was funny. So the winner of this event, Steven Santoli from Canada, former Exosister player extraordinaire, on the Konami blog they had Steven listed as not playing the Diabell Star engine, as just pure Rescue Ace, and then when they showed up on stream,
wait, he was on it?
Yes, so it turns out that's so we were thinking like this dude playing budget Rescue Ace is clapping people up, but no, it turns out it was just Konami just screwed up. They didn't look at the deck list.
That's disappointing.
So we showed up.
Like, I had to dip out from the stream before the finals, so I didn't actually see. I just thought it was pure Rescue Ace that won that.
I was only able to see game 1, but that was enough. So
well, now I'm disappointed.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think part of the reason that it's tough. Obviously, the Diabell Star engine is huge for consistency, because it gives you more ways to access Hydrant, which is something that the deck did have a problem with was that sometimes you would just brick I know the Curry Bandits and MBT both have been playing it, and that's like sometimes you just open hands, they don't do anything. But it is much harder to do with the Bellstar now. The other piece of the puzzle, I think, too, is that because the format is so diverse, Rescue Ace has a couple of matchups that are not amazing, but they do really well into everything else. So in a format where you're trying to go the distance in a really long event, so long as you know that there are some matchups where you're going to get dinged, you got a really high chance to convert. And against a wide field, Turbulence Set 4 offers like
surprisingly good.
Yeah, diverse disruption, and you've got options, right? Like there's like, it seems like there's kind of like 3 main chunks of builds. So I wonder what you think about the chunks. There's the Isolde Ricardetto one.
I think that one is complete cope. I do not believe in the Rescue Ace with Ricardetto.
As the Infernoble player, why do you think?
Yeah.
What's the thought process?
I just don't think it does enough. Because at the end of the day, like pre Diabell start, maybe I could see it being used there. Because it gives you a different sort of form of extension beyond like just getting hit by an Imperm or something like that. But with Diabell Star, it just kind of does everything better already. And at that point, you're getting to effectively the Infernoble problem of how much consistency is too much consistency. You're going to have to balance it with other sort of non-engine and things like that. And I don't see it personally, but I'm not also a Rescue Ace player myself. So
I think the draw is like, you add a little bit of extra follow-up at the cost of one of your disruptions being weirder. So like that build ends on like the extra thing that it does is do it's like Baron SP Little Knight. And then there's the Jet Synchron one, which does Baron Savage. And then your set cards. And then there's the Oh, go ahead.
No, sorry. I don't know. Again, with the Jet Synchron stuff, I think it's better than the Ricardetto stuff. But at the end of the day, once you get like the sort of Rescue Ace thing going, your turbulences are going, you've got the SP to protect it. I don't know how much more you need beyond that, especially in at least this meta.
Kind of is
that
extra.
It's surprisingly strong going into the field, in my opinion, at least. And personally, I don't know if I would trade off the raised ceiling of having like the Baron and the Savage compared to just other non-engine for having to go second or things like that.
Yep. And the winner of the event agreed with you, because the third build that exists is one that also existed before, but it's the Terahertz build. And that's that
stuff's funny.
You get your big Neo Firewall dingus up, you send Disable Worm, and now you have access to a spell Trap Negate. Mainly that's part of why people are experimenting with the other options, is like it's you have more free extra deck space if you do the synchro stuff, but at the cost of having to play main deck cards that are not great. Like with Isolde, you have to play an equip, which
Cat showing up.
Kitty,
there goes Rupert.
Yo,
I guess you only saw his tail from that angle.
That's true. And speaking of cats, the other deck that I believe it got the second most top spots was Pearly.
I was expecting Pearly to actually take the event personally.
Interesting.
I was kind of a doubter on the Rescue Ace stuff with the Bellstar, but this event completely proved me wrong.
Admittedly, I was also a doubter. I thought it was Pearly in tier for sure. But I think, again, in like such a wide field, Rescue Ace is not playing against Pearly or Unchained every round.
Yeah.
They're not playing against tier every round. So when
speaking of Unchained, I am shocked at how little they converted that event.
It's wild, right? Because when we were talking about whether you could play Rescue Ace before Agov, it was that deck can't beat Unchained. And now suddenly that Diabell Star is... So I think Unchained has two problems, actually. Unchained has a really bad tier matchup. And Diabell Star gives Rescue Ace just like a little bit of extra oomph. So there's like a few more games that Rescue Ace wins going into the full Unchained board, right? So yeah, I think I think the combination of less people playing Unchained because of tier, people over preparing for tier, means that Evenly Matched was not in a lot of side decks. Some people were off Lightning Storm and were just playing Duster as their like back row hate. And when there aren't those blowout cards to deal with all the back row, shockingly, they're difficult to chew through.
Yeah, setting forward strong when they got nothing for it.
Exactly. So for Rogue, in top 8, or I guess, and tier fell off like crazy. I think everybody expected tier to be one of the best decks, but only 2 of them topped, I think.
I mean, I'll take that. I am not a fan of tier games unless you're also on tier for the most part.
It's really sacky. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of a shame because I think the deck being alive is cool for the people who really enjoyed that style of gameplay. But I think we have to ban the millers. Probably all
that stuff is nuts.
Probably all of
I don't know how the Ishizu cards got printed. In general,
we probably have to ban the shufflers too. Those cards are just so.
Just put Ishizu out of the meta again. Go back to Battle City.
And if they here's a discussion actually. Now that it's come up, do you think we could bring back some of the main deck tier names if the Ishizu cards were all banned?
That is a tough one. I want to say yes, but you look at the OCG and you kind of go, maybe everything needs to stay banned. We give them a single tier name and they will have some 60 card monstrosity that'll top. So like, if we lost the Ishizu, like I don't think the Pote era tier with like Casino tier with the dangers and stuff like that, it never felt super oppressive. But at the same time, if you start taking the stuff off the list just because the Ishizus are gone, that deck will live longer than like Sky Striker did.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. I think that's the problem is like every iteration of hits, even in the OCG, people are still trying to play it.
Yeah, even Tier has the strongest warriors, I swear.
Even in Master Duel, like Kid Kolos and Chaos Ruler are still legal, but like Merly is banned. You have 2 names that Confusion Summon, and you're still tier.
And it still works.
Tier cash is at 1.
I don't get it. It still works.
It's wild. The Rogue Exorcister, Monadium showed up. I think there were 2 Monadium decks that topped. Monadium is so strange because they now have the ability to play through a lot more interaction, and like they can go second more, but it still feels like you open hands that are not great. I think more people might start to edge onto Monadium as people start to play stuff that counters Rescue Ace. There's going to be less to deal with the big giant screw off synchro boards.
Obviously. The only thing you really need, from my understanding of Monadium, I don't really know how Agov has changed them up that much, but if they become a problem, it just becomes slap draw in your side deck again.
Yep.
Because before, they really had no way to play through Droll, and I don't know if they have much game into Droll now.
The level 6 synchro has at least means that they can end on something, so they can access a Baron under Droll. And oh no,
that's something.
Oh no,
one negate.
But it lets them play a bit more non-engine because the 6 brings back 2s from grave, so you have some.
That's fair.
You've got some options. Labyrinth has just almost completely disappeared. 1 Labyrinth topped, but its lab's got some bad matchups. Tri-Brigade Sprite is a thing, as was
that was the most surprising top to me. I didn't expect anything even vaguely Tri-Brigade related to pop off.
That would be the most interesting. I think the list itself is kind of cool. It's main decking 3 Super Poly, which is fun.
Fair.
And we got Defenders. We're still playing the Nimble stuff. It's Tri-Brigade Sprite pretty much through and through. I mean,
Tri-Brigade Sprite always had a good matchup into tier, so I think that was probably kind of where their meta call was going, I would assume, but I don't know. Tier didn't do much.
So there's two other decks here. Obviously, only one Vanquish Soul player is allowed to top an event, but one Vanquish Soul player
It's the law.
will top every event. They will lose almost immediately, but one of them will top. And I get this is just going to be a thing that happens for the next year. That one Vanquish Soul player draws enough copies of Tikaboo to make it.
Yep.
I think it's probably
Makes for the worst streams you could possibly watch when the Vanquished old player starts winning.
Yeah, it sucks because it's probably true that the deck is very fun to play, and it's also probably true that we do not give it enough credit. But it's also very true that it's baffling that it keeps just having like exactly one person top with it.
Yeah,
it's bizarre.
And to be fair, it kind of sucks to play against.
Yeah,
for the most part.
So the last deck is Asian Persuasion, who topped on Runic Stun. I don't know if you saw this list.
I'm opening it up right now, and it is a war crime.
It is horrifying. 2 copies of Amana Owado. Notably, this is the least expensive deck in the Top Cut. This is a conversation that's been happening on Twitter. This is the only deck in Top Cut that you can build in paper for under $250 USD. Every other deck is like...
You know what? I'm warming up to this war crime.
The next least expensive deck I think is like $450, and then any of the Rescue Ace range from like
crazy
$800 to $1,200 US.
That's insane.
For us Canadians who work with maple money, that's a little wild.
It's at least 3 beavers and half a moose.
Yeah. So the funniest card, I did want to bring this up in the Runic Stun list, is there are 2 copies of a continuous trap card that most people haven't heard of, but I have because my little brother...
Of course you have. Of course you've heard of this weird jank trap.
My little brother pulled this in a Duelist pack a long time ago before I knew what anything was.
Cat showed up again.
Hello.
Rupert, out of the camera.
Hello, Per So pulled it in a Duelist pack a long time ago, and it was like a playground staple for us. We would always struggle.
Stop hitting my camera. Sorry, my cat is trying to knock my camera off my computer.
Just trying to eat materials from your opponent's graveyard.
Exactly. Sit down, buddy.
So this card is Scrubbed Raid, and it's a continuous trap that says when your opponent starts their battle phase, you can send a card you control to the graveyard to end the battle phase. So the reason you play this is because it's better than Threatening Roar because it sits around as a continuous.
I didn't realize it was continuous. I thought it was just a bad Threatening Roar.
Oh, so you can just continuously end your opponent's battle phase to stop them from killing you. So it's like
wonderful.
It's like Messenger of Peace, but because you draw infinite cards with Time Tearing Morganite and the Runic engine, it's impossible for you to die. So
that's crazy.
And this card immediately got bought out because it only has 1 printing as a super rare in Duelist Pack 9 Yusei 2.
A very highly open set. Fan favorite right there.
And unfortunately, the card that I have, because we didn't use sleeves when we were 12, is Beaten Beyond Repair. So it is not legal.
That's how it always is.
Not legal for tournament play.
Yeah, I still got my Structure Deck Kaiba one that looks like it's gone through a washing machine.
I have a copy of, I wonder if I could pull it out. I have a copy of Mangaroo Round that looks like it's been like eaten. Like literally it's like a chunk torn out the top. It looks like an old book page.
I mean, he's in an egg, like
that's
true-ish.
Trying to break out of the egg, I guess. So the last kind of bit of news thing to talk about is we got the Rarity Collection reveals yesterday, as of you listening.
Best set ever, full stop. And end of conversation. Best set.
It is. Yep. And I think everybody is coming to that conclusion. Like it's hard to tell. We gotta wait until people post ratios, but pre-sales for most stuff, like the most expensive card at Super I've seen is Prosp going for like 15 US, and this is pre-sales. I expect those are gonna drop as like insane amounts of people open this set. So I would personally, unless there's something that's like you think is a really good deal, I would wait until a few days after release because this is going to be one of the most open sets ever. I have a list of stuff that I'm going to pick up in Super, and I'm going to pick up 3 of every print of Fossil Dig.
Rip your wallet.
No, Fossil Dig actually is looking like it's not very expensive, so I'm not gonna.
Yeah, but you're going for 3 of every print.
You don't understand. You do.
Oh no, I understand. I understand.
You know.
Don't get me wrong. I was looking at
like I'm just casually gonna pull up an Solda. I can snag whatever you want.
Unironically, an Solda is one of the altis that I'm sad I missed.
I have an extra.
I'm never gonna use it. This was still when I was playing worse jank. Anyway, back on topic.
Yeah.
Rarity collection.
So there are a few differences of note. So notably, the set list is exactly what we thought it would be. The set list is exactly the OCG set list with minus max C. So instead of 80 cards, we have 79. I do think it's funny that they didn't replace it with anything, but I guess it makes sense.
What would they have replaced it with, though? All like the good replacements for max C are already in there.
They would have done something silly like retaliating
Sonic Chick or something.
Sonic Chick. Scramble Egg would be the
yeah, Scramble Egg, that's the one.
Scramble Egg would be the funny one. I mean, this set honestly, if you are somebody who's considering getting into the paper game, literally just look for the supers and the ultras honestly are like looking like they're going to be pretty similar in price for the most part. So like because you're pulling the same amount of them per pack, generally speaking. So if you're looking at staple cards, now is the time. If there's an older print of a staple that you've been looking at that is in this collection, also go look for those. So like if you want an original secret rare prosp, those are going to drop pretty significantly when these print. So keep an eye out for those other prints as well. There are
my own. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, you go. You go.
I was just gonna say my only hope for this set is that it is stocked enough. And it has a fairly long printing run because we had like a similar really good entry point for new players back when Dual Devastator came out a couple years ago. And Cat again, hi Rupert. And that was always one of like the best things you could pick up. But I think it sold out pretty fast for the most part, at least at regular stores. You could find it in like the back of a Walmart shelf eventually. But I'm hoping that this rarity collection sells enough to get like a second or a third wave even.
Yeah. Just
because it is that amazing of a set.
I agree. And I have to think Konami knows, but I guess we'll find out.
They probably know. It doesn't mean they're going to do it.
That's true.
It is Konami at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. So there are actually two differences in set contents, kind of. So in the OCG version of the set, the alternate arts of Eldritch the Golden Lord and Nightmare Unicorn only came at collectors and Alti. In the TCG version of the set, we get them at all rarities. So we do have access to the Platinum Secret alt art Eldritch as well as the regular art Eldritch, and we do get the Platinum Secret. What's the other high-end rarity? Quarter Century Secret Rare. We also get it in Quarter Century. And then the other thing is, it's kind of interesting. I've seen some reports from people. Apparently the altis look kind of like Maximum Gold, but without like the extra embossing. Apparently they're kind of whack.
Really?
Yeah, so I'm interested to see them in person. And then apparently the collectors though are apparently just a straight pull from the OCG.
Yeah, I've been seeing like the reveals, and every one of the Japanese style collectors rares that has been shown off on a video or a stream has looked amazing. Like crazy good.
I genuinely think that the collector's rares will probably end up being the most expensive. I think solely because when all of the rarities are available at that level, I think that the one that looks the best is going to be the one that people go for.
Probably fair. So, I'm going for the altis because that is my personal favorite rarity.
That's fair. And I haven't seen those in person, so I'm excited to see what they look like. And I will, because I will be getting the fossil digs.
Yep. Of course you will.
And I'm interested. I haven't seen any of the Platinum Secrets, so I still have to go look at those too.
The Platinum Secrets are an odd case from what I've seen, except cattail again. They look... Okay. I don't know if you remember the Platinum Secrets from like the 2014...
I know those.
Was it 2014 Megatins? Yeah,
I know what those.
Those
are.
were gaudy beyond belief. right? Because they had the foiling go through the entire card from the art, like the box. You could blind somebody.
It was like
with those.
Bushinte Susanoo and Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon.
No, it was Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon.
It was Odd Eyes Pendulum. Yep, you're right about that.
So it looks like, from what I've seen of the new ones, they've stripped most of the blinding foil off the card, but kept the bright platinum foiling on the actual art itself, as well as like the sort of like mosaic-y colored for the name. So it looks pretty good, but
interesting. From
what I've been seeing on videos, at least, it just kind of looks like a bright secret rare, right?
Ooh, prismatic secret rare. 2.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is. Just if prismatic secret was so good, why don't we have prismatic secret too?
True. Let's get another one. So it's so interesting that this comes up at a time when we start to have conversations about the price of the game. So
convenient. They planned this. They planned the month rotating disc course.
Got us.
Konami gets us again.
So this is amazing because it takes a whole like generation of staple cards and now makes them accessible to almost anyone. Anything that's not like Prosp or what's the card I'm thinking of? Like Prosp Droplet, like everything else is below like $3. And I guarantee, like on release of the set, almost all of the super rares are gonna drop. Same with the ultras, frankly.
It's gonna be great.
Even the regular secrets are not gonna be that nuts.
Investors in shambles.
Yeah, so, and I mean, I say this as somebody who owns an original set of Pot of Prosperity and Forbidden Droplet. This is just a good thing, and it should have happened way earlier. But
fully agree.
If you look at the deck list from the latest YCS, it's like an unreal amount of thrust. There are more copies of SP Little Knight than there are decks.
That is a depressing statistic.
We don't even have all the deck lists. I think there's like 27 of the deck lists and 30.
And we're already at like 33 SPs or something.
33 SPs. The number of times SP was summoned on stream is also like 1.5 times the number of matches that happened on stream.
That is depressing.
So it sucks because there are now a whole bunch of other staple cards that are accessible, but the staple cards that people are playing to compete at a high level are the ones that still don't have reprints. And especially when you if you want to play a deck that has Thrust and SP and the Diabell Star engine, Rescue Ace, although Rescue Ace isn't really playing Thrust, but you could. It's like $1,000. It's like $500 for the Diabell Star core, and then another $300 for a set of Thrust, and then
and you just gotta hope nothing gets banned in like 4 months.
Yeah, I like SP is a card that could see a ban. Frankly,
I could honestly see SP banned in like 2 lists already. It's because this seems like one of those cards that'll just, I wouldn't say centralize a format, but it's going to be omnipresent.
It reminds me of Verte.
Verte and DPE, like that same sort of deal.
Verte existed for longer, but I think we can reasonably assume that the timeline of Verte is the timeline of DPE, and that was 2 to 3 lists. I mean, frankly, Thrust might be in a similar position as with that's the other big staple. TTT is in the rarity collection, Triple Tactics Talent, and that's huge because it's been out of reach for a lot of players for a long time. I don't know. Is there anything weird in the collection that you want to be snagging?
I have to look at the full set list again, but obviously, I, being the poor SOB that I am, don't have Pot of Prosperities and a bunch of stuff like that, but I think I'm probably going for the reinforcement of the armies, upgrading that to like an Alti and stuff like that. I think a lot of what I'm getting is just going to be rarity bumps and then like Pot.
Of jank, yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I'm
at. I just want stuff to look pretty, man.
This is so funny enough, this is actually the first time I have like been able to justify getting a set of Lava Golem. I was actually very happy to see that reprint in a bunch of different rarities. So Lava Golem.
Wait, you haven't had Lava Golems this whole time?
I have never owned a copy of Lava Golem in my life. I
think I'm still sitting on a playset from like the Merrick structure deck.
From ages past.
Yeah.
I have a friend who's very, very excited that Ice Barrier is going to get an LT.
I mean, it's a good card. That was like, what, $30 at one point or more?
The trap card?
Oh wait, no, not Ice Barrier. I'm thinking of Ice Dragon's Prison. Different card.
No.
I think that's in here as well.
I think it is. Ice. No, I'm talking Ice Barrier. It's the foolish.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, no, that one's never been expensive.
Yeah. And then I do have, so my twin brother is a Nouvelles player. You met
Yep.
Troner, aka Tanner.
That is the unhinged deck list that made it to my personal YouTube.
It's a beautiful video. So not only is, I believe, Ben 10 is in the set, it's also preparation of rights and pre-preparation of rights.
Yep.
So all of the
So many random decks are just going to be blinged to the high hells.
and Herald of the Arclight, which also is like perennially a $5 card for no reason. So it was also a good reprint.
I mean, oh, I know it did get a reprint. I was gonna say it hasn't been reprinted since like that special edition. But I think it hit maximum gold or something as well.
It's had like 4 prints, and it still is just not dipped below like $3.
Good card is good.
Good card is good. So I think that is going to about wrap it up for the content section of the podcast. Before I thank all of our wonderful patrons, is there anything else you would like to say to the people? Where can the people find you? Should they find you?
I don't know if people want
Do
to
you want
find
them to
me.
find you?
I'm weird. I'm like a little gremlin. Let me hide in my corner of the internet. But if anybody actually cares to find me, I am mainly on Twitter at JaffynGames. I think I might start streaming again. I haven't decided yet. Same name on Twitch. That's about it.
Absolutely fantastic. So without further ado, I will now thank all of our wonderful patrons. I don't know if you have listened to the patron names before, but there are some doozies here, so this could be fun for you.
I haven't. This will be good.
This will be good. So first off, a huge thank you to Always Second, Welcome Back, April Floodgate, King of Names, Zyphorus, Big Stinky, Blue Eyes is Best, Copium, Ding Dongs, Hostess of the Yangzing.
He did nothing wrong.
Give me that Horusi Konami. HZH Cyber. I used to play Rogue, but then my mom got a job. John Neal. Everybody.
Sorry, that one got me.
It's really good. Everybody says that one's insane. John Leal, Mountain Man, Oatmeal Spaghetti, Owen Alvarado, Pistol Plays Pendulums, Silver Hope, Tiny Earth Cat, Understanding and reading are two different things, Virtually Savior's World, welcome hosts of the Top Cut podcast, Fluwanderies and Trouble Sunny, What Do You Call a Magic Owl, Houdini, Wind Up Carrier, Zinfidel Mighty, Aaron Gardner, Alexander Chan, Asami, Ashless Chaps, Atsuyo, Simp of the Silver Castle, Blackwing Silverwind the Ascendant is the best Floodgate, Boxwine, Come On and Get Your Game On, Dragon Maidenless Behavior, I'm About to Rika Glamour Tribute for Cost, D's Plant Nuts in Your Mouth, Level 4, Fire Warrior Gaming, Little Stinky, Llama Yama Cam Sarama, Max C-Pack, Nemrelia Skill Drain Beatdown, Neshi, Old Man Red, and Pincode 143. Thank you all so much for your continued support of the podcast. And
how do you keep a straight face through some of those? I honestly need to know.
I'm desensitized to the whims of our desensitized to the whims of our fans.
That's fair.
In fact, so normally I have like a card pun for an episode, but I didn't come up with one, so
put it in post.
I'm digging through the bulk. No, I got this. If I ever run into the patron that called me Fluwanderies, we're gonna have a small scuffle. That's not my best work.
I'm sorry, that's worth a big scuffle. You do not insult my boy like that. Come on.
All right. Have a good night, everybody.
Bye.